do you believe in miracles, signs, and wonders?
Yes, I do. I am one. I've been working ever since 1949, one way or the other. Worked in high school, college, and I worked on up until I was 78 years old.
I remember when I was young and he would take me to work and he would outwork me. I'm thinking, I'm young and all my friends would come work and he'd outwork us all. And, we'd be dead tired. And, the next day he's right back out there. So he'd always been the pinnacle of that strength. And I never knew him a day in my life to be ill or sick.
I was ordained as a deacon in June 9th, 1958. I was the youngest deacon ever ordained in our church at that particular time. And I was real active in the Sunday school, BTU, and involved with the youth in our church. So I have worked basically at a young age in the church, and I was really, really dedicated to the purpose, what I was doing. And I grew up with the belief that if you do right, if you treat everybody like you want it to be treated, then all this will come back. Once I went to my doctor and he said, well, Percy, you're having problems. We're going to send you to the doctor and you're going to have some work done on your heart. You have a valve that needs repair. So I said, okay.
He had to have these surgeries and, when he went to have the heart surgery, he went to Emory and they were like, we can't do the surgery because you have a 70% blockage in your artery. And, we're, surprised you haven't stroked out already. And you could more than likely would have stroked out on the table had we have not, picked this up. And that was the first sign of a miracle to me because he had been being tested for months prior to this period and nobody had detected this blockage out of all the different tests he had to get ready for this surgery he was about to have on his valves. And it was one of the people there at the hospital that kind of almost at the last moment were like, well, he needs to go up for this test before he does anything. And here they discovered this blockage. So to me at that moment, I was already professing a miracle because it's like, oh my gosh, they found this thing that could have not only killed him prior, but could have killed him in surgery.
So I came back to Columbus and I thought that I was doing well, fair, but my health kind of deteriorated. And I started passing out. I fell, knocked a hole in my head, and I had to go back into the hospital in Columbus.
Things just got worse and worse. And in my mind, I never experienced that with my father because everything he had always went through, he rebounded quickly. It was never been in the bed for this long. And he was going back and forth to the hospital. Just every other day, there seemed to be a phone call or something concerning his health and it not, him not bouncing back. And finally, through all of this, he ended up at Emory. And I had hope at that point because that was the original hospital and Emory is very well known. And, the doctors in there and doctors and nurses and the supporting staff, they were contacting us, calling us, giving us updates. And they were optimistic, which made me highly optimistic.
But what the doctor told one day, basically that I would probably be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. So that was the straw that kind of broke the camel's back. Now I became in a state of depression. And now because I didn't want to be in a wheelchair the rest of my life, I did not want to have to depend on anybody for the rest of my life.
The doctors basically said there is nothing more we can do for him. More than likely, your father is going to have to be in a wheelchair. He's going to need assistance to get around for bodily functions, just everything.
And I had the attitude, well, I'll probably be better off dead. Then I wouldn't have to worry about, about it taking care of me.
He started fading with it. His energy, his his motivation, everything just seemed to go away.
These young ladies came in, and first of all, I was not expecting to see them because it had been a long time since I'd uh, seen them, and they got grown up to be real attractive young women. And so we were talking one day, and so they said, well, they asked me, well, do you believe in miracles? And I do believe in miracles because there are a lot of things that have happened in my life prior to that were miracles, and nobody but the man of staff could have accomplished those things for me.
My faith was all over the place. I could tell you at that moment, as things seemed to dim, I was not feeling that faith. I was not feeling that optimism.
I didn't think there was a miracle, another miracle in my working. But anyway, we talked, and they said, well, do you mind if we pray? So we prayed, and then, so we prayed, and then, but what happened was after they left, then I don't know why this always stuck in the back of my mind, do I believe in miracles? And then they told me that I would be uh, saved and brought to a point where I would not be confined to a wheelchair.
Like, that was one of the first times that he spoke in the future, that he spoke with hope and he spoke with optimism of that once this passes. And that was the light I needed. And so it was people coming to him and giving him that energy that reignited his light. And then I saw his light shine, and then it refocused my light. Me, my son, and my brother went up, and we got him out of the hospital, and we brought like bags of oranges from Florida, and we brought pecan pies from Southern Georgia, and we gave them to the whole hospital staff that worked on that floor. It was almost like one big party. Everybody was so happy to, see my father and see that he was leaving. And maybe 5 minutes before we were loading him up to get him into the van, he just became ill. I mean, just totally ill. Just, he couldn't keep anything down. We started driving, and I tell you, for the first hour on the drive, and mind you, it's a 8.5, 9 hour drive, he was, sick and was upset. He was crying, and it was crazy that things went from so joyous to like, how are we going to make it with him being this sick? God held that van and brought us to Florida because we had to have him in Florida by 10 p.m. that night to hold the bed in the rehab center. And we made it there like 9:35, driving straight through. And I say that because 2 days later, the van broke down. It wouldn't start.
God actually spoke to one of these women who knew you to say, you need to go to the hospital and pray for this man. And she called a friend to say, hey, do you want to come and pray with me for this man? And like, what are we going to do? And she's like, I don't know. We just need to go to the hospital and pray. God is sending us. So realize that this is God. God intentionally spoke to someone to say, go. And through her obedience to go and come and pray for you, like that was God sending them to you. You are that important to him. You are that loved by him, that he would see you in a state of depression and hopelessness, and at a point where you had pretty much given up on the thought of living the rest of your life walking and dancing and the way that you had before, that he saw that and knew that you needed a touch to give you the faith, to build up your faith so that you would get up out of that bed. So we were sent by him specifically for you. He cares that much about you to send someone to give you a little bit more hope so that you could get out of that bed.
When they asked me, well, do you have faith? Or they were asking me this question, then they kept flipping back in my memory. Then I'm saying that, well, hey, there's something here. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that these people were angels of mercy. I didn't know that until a while later. You know, life is just like an echo in the valley. If you put out good things come back. If you put out bad things come out. On Christmas Day, my son got me from rehab and brought me to his residence, and I was in a wheelchair. So when I got to the house, he took the wheelchair out of the car and he said, well, here, we're going to get in the wheelchair. So I said, well, no, I'm not going in the house in a wheelchair.
I was ye of little faith at that point. I had no beliefs from what I had seen whatsoever that he was only going to that he was going to make it one or two steps, because I literally had not seen him stand on his own, let alone walk on his own.
But I know somebody greater and stronger and mightier than I had a power to uplift me and to make what I said kind of come to reality. I believe in that.
I haven't seen this man walk in months.
So I got out of the car.
So I said, well, I'll walk behind you with the wheelchair. And he walked from the driveway into the house and actually stepped up over one or two stairs into the den. I'm thinking, okay, we have seen the miracle today. Like, this is 1 week after. Christmas was on a Tuesday that year. It's like, this was 1 week after, and he's walking into the house. I'm done. I'm through. We're good. This is the best Christmas I've had I could ever remember.
And so the music came on, and so I got up and I began to dance.
He's dancing. Like, he's dancing. And finally, I went and I grabbed my camera. he continued to walk. Not a whole lot, but he continued to walk the rest of the day for Christmas. And so from that day on, he's been walking.
The 25th of December, I was kind of like a new page I had opened up in my life. My attitude changed. I was walking without any help. I was walking without my blood pressure dropping, and things kind of changed kind of overnight. Why have God been so good to me? I don't know why. I don't know what I've done, but whatever it is, it must have worked, because He answered my prayer, and I found out that prayer is fine, but sometimes you need some prayer from your friends and your family. Bought a special chair for me to sit down in the shower to take a shower. And so I got in the shower and the water came down on me, and I didn't know whether there was more water coming out of my eyes or out the shower head. I began to cry, and I just was elated, and I couldn't even sit down. I stood up the whole time and took my shower. I was just elated just to be able to bathe myself. Then my daughter-in-law came one day, and we were walking. And so I said, well, we'll go for a walk. So we walked. She said, I said, I'm tired. I said, we better turn around and go back. I can't make it. She said, well, we can keep on going, because if we go this way, it's the same distance as going back. So we continued walking. We finally made the circle around the block. When we got back, we had walked over 2 miles.
You believe in miracle signs and wonders?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm living testimony to that, and I would encourage anybody to believe as well and to not give up.
You're looking at one, so you can. Yes, I do believe. This is not just one miracle have happened in my life. There are a lot of miracles have happened in my life, but it continue to happen in my life, and I continue to overcome obstacles that I didn't think that I could overcome, and nobody but the man upstairs could have pushed me over these obstacles. So yes, I believe in miracles. I believe in the Almighty God, and I believe that He have touched me more than once in my life, and I think He still got His hand on me. Sometimes I think they're looking dim, then I look around the corner and the light is brighter, and I put my sunshade on, because things begin to pick up, and I look and I see a brighter day ahead. So things are seemingly better every day, and there's a good reason for getting up in the morning and taking a good breath of air and be relieved and say thanks for another day.